Let's go.
That kind of brings us to our introduction to Melanie Linsky slash Shauna slash her actual name in this series, Kathleen, and she is interrogating this old doctor guy. And it's kind of like you're supposed to read between the lines that this doctor was probably one of the wealthier elites that was kind of taking advantage of the less fortunate. She's like, this is one of those cells where you beat my brother to death. And we're kind of getting a lot of partial information about this Kathleen character, but she's interrogating him about the whereabouts of a list of names, but she's really focusing on this one guy named Henry. And she's like, come on, we know he's still in the city and you know where he is. We know he's close, yada, yada, yada. So yeah.
They had a past. He literally says to her, I delivered you. Like that was her like family doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously that just plays into her executing him, whatever it ends up being, 5 to 6 minutes later when she really doesn't think twice about it. I mean, that tells you a lot about her in that one scene. So I guess I don't know if I took it so much that he was like some like sheltered elite. It just seemed like Fedra essentially threatened him and he became an informant. And obviously these are people that overthrew Fedra within the QZ and got out of it, so they don't look kindly against people that kind of supported the regime.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Good.
I don't think Kathleen has much. Our Kathleen and this Kathleen have much experience in, zombie apocalypse, because you really want to execute your freaking doctor that easily. I mean, come on. I mean, first of all, we don't really have the backstory yet. What the deal is with her and Henry. I'm assuming he wronged her in some way, whether she's the good guy, good girl, whatever, the protagonist in this story for herself or not. So, she really wants Henry dead, but still, like, if you gotta shoot the doctor in the foot to get some answers, but to kill the doctor that easily, and I am surprised that the town or the other hunters are all down with that.
So, it seemed very short-sighted, because they literally have one of the guys that Joel shot, and then she's like, can he be saved with a doctor? And one guy's like, nah, like it's too late. And then she just goes and kills the doctor. And it's like, well, there might be other people.
I thought that was so ice cold. I thought that was a great introduction to her character, because in that scene where she is interrogating the doctor, I'm trying to make up, my mind on whether like what this character is going to be like, because she did see like she had some humility in the sense that, she was going to cry when the doctor said, I delivered you, and you could see that did hit her. So I'm trying to make these assumptions and see what kind of character she is. And I think because you can see that she is trying to fight for something that she believes is right, but at the same time, it's clearly corrupt in itself. But the moment that she pulls the trigger on the doctor, for me, just proves, okay, this is a villain. And I think that's going to be her role in at least the next episode, maybe two, if she makes it that long. But I thought it was really well done to just do, just execute the doctor. And plus, if there's anything like we've seen in history is, when regimes get overthrown by whatever militia or what would you call them?
Revolutionaries.
Like revolutionaries. Yes. Sorry. Usually the new regime is not much better, and if not, it's worse. And that's exactly what it is here. Like, this regime is clearly much worse than what they were probably having done to them in the QZ. Maybe. Who knows?
That is a stretch.
Dave, Dave, you can back off for a second, Dave, because I just want to bring up something that I don't think you know much about. But what about Pike's revolution in the 100? That wasn't too great, huh? We covered the 100, Dave, and I know you didn't. We covered the pilot of the 100, and you gave us some shit. So I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I think that's like season 3-ish, right?
Beyond my territory. I only know episode 1 and season 7 or whatever the last season was. That's all
Dave
I know.
knows season, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't think she doesn't seem very evil. Like, as we go later on, and we kind of progress just on her storyline individually, kind of they're trying to find Joel and Ellie because they think that they're like mercenaries fighting with this,
Henry,
mysterious Henry man that she's trying to find. And I think she comes off more as someone who's kind of out of her depth a little bit. Like, she tells them to search like everything everywhere, and that seems like a little bit of like an overcast of your resources. And I don't think she's like she's just kind of making decisions. It seems like, I don't know.
So this is kind of bringing us, I want to bring up the criticisms from the community of this character. Number one is, Kyle, like you said, people are like, it's unrealistic that someone would commit that many resources to kind of a spiteful revenge plot. She's clearly going after this guy, Henry. The motivation is that this Henry guy is in charge of the people that brutally tortured and murdered her brother, and now she just finds herself as the leader and is unleashing the dogs, going door to door. Like, that's not something someone would do. Again, they fabricated this character for the show, so it seems like kind of a quote unquote filler arc. Also, it is a revenge plot, which we will kind of see as a recurring theme in this story. So people are like, if you were going to manufacture a villain for this show, why would you go with the revenge plot, which we're kind of saturated with in the Last of Us story, as we will kind of get to over the next season plus. So definitely some criticisms about this Kathleen character. Aside from that, though, I think the character itself is interesting. I don't know.
Well, I guess the overcommitting of resources, I feel like it tells you something in that she's not like I said, I mean, she's out of her depth.
Not a seasoned vet.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a plot hole. It's on purpose to show you that she's not fit. I don't want to say completely incompetent, but like we get later on as we get the montages of them breaking down doors and all that stuff, and then we have her and Perry, the older gentleman who has my absolute goal of an old guy look, because he looks fucking fantastic, and that is like the ultimate role model for me for what I want to look like when I'm older. As you can see, we're lacking a little bit in the facial hair department, but and then there's she makes some shaky decision that seems very emotional and kind of personally motivated, not thinking of it as she's a leader of a group. So I think the decisions tell a story about her. I don't know if they're necessarily maybe plot holes. It's just she just kind of maybe isn't the right person for the job.
One more thing I want to say, because I brought up the fandom's criticisms of this character, is there was an explanation offered by Craig, our boy. And he essentially said that the show had to fulfill a purpose that the game didn't, which is the game is just going to throw NPCs at you, which are humans that are innately going to shoot at you. And he's like, the show had to have a reason why these people will innately not like you and shoot on sight, and had to give these NPCs, quote unquote NPCs, foot soldiers in the show, a reason for firing at you. So there you go.
One thing I also took to, I don't know if this was ever confirmed in this episode or not, but was Brian Kathleen's son? Because he's sleeping. So
I don't.
So the only
I feel like she would have freaked out more.
The only reason, I'm bringing that up is because maybe if it was her son, that would maybe explain the little bit of lack of awareness of things around her and why she's just willing to go send out all these resources, these people.
That's
because
fair.
He does say in his dying breath, he's like he's crying for his mom, obviously, but he does say she can, she will offer you trades or something like that. I think.
She's nearby.
She's nearby. So if that's the case, I think that's even
good.
provides a little bit of a better explanation on why she's so crazed on having Joel and Ellie found.
And also, I mean,
I like that.
I could easily see that being a plot point in next episode when that comes to light. It comes to light that Joel actually isn't really maybe involved with Henry. I mean, we'll talk about that obviously at some level too, but then it's kind of like you weren't really our enemy until we kind of almost pushed you to do something that then now makes you our enemy. Yeah, I could see that being a thing.